Hi, I'm Stefanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast. Hey guys, it's Stephanie and Ryan this evening.
Yep, I'm out to play tonight.
So I invited him out. He's here. We are going to talk about date nights, why it's important, what's our favorite date nights, and some maybe inspirational date night ideas for you guys. So
Definitely. I mean, that would be, I think, if we can do anything, spawn some new ideas, get creative. That's always interesting.
Right.
And, make it work. Make something different. Make a memory. Who knows?
Okay. Ryan's getting philosophical over here. He's, Okay. Get into it. So, date nights. Why do we do date nights, Ryan? This isn't a test. This is not a test.
No, but it is not a test. I do know the answer, and I know the right answer. It might not be the same. Because, the answer is it's literally part of our contract, but
Okay.
Contract,
So,
we'll get into that. That's another thing.
Yeah.
But the short answer is it is a way for us to stay connected, be connected, particularly connect with her love language. And
good answer.
Yeah,
Good answer.
okay, all right. So,
you get points this evening. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Okay, so backtrack to contract. Like a lot of people don't know. So we literally have. It's not like a prenup. It's not like that. It's literally we typed it up on iPhone style, and we both agreed, and we pretty much have held each other. Pretty much, we've tried to hold each other to that standard, like a standard.
So it's kind of like a prenup, because a prenup, it's not a bad thing.
But it's not like
It's not a bad thing. It's a pre-relationship
piece of paper that we both sign that can go to a court of law.
Right? Yeah. No.
There's nothing that
it's not going to hold up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing that could you didn't hold up your end of the contract. There's no monetary gain on either side kind of thing. But. No. The contract is just basic standards that we wanted to have in our relationship. We'd been there, done that kind of thing.
Right. Literally putting it in writing.
Right.
Essentially is what it came down to.
We wanted out of the relationship kind of thing. So date nights were on that. And so because it's my love language, it's very important to me. And I want to spend that quality time with you, having that conversation with you.
Right.
2 love language, 1 night kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it is scientifically proven that date nights are important, and communication is number 1 to be able to withdraw you from the norm, to be able to communicate on a regular basis. From couplestherapyinc.com, I will cite this in the show notes. It is literally part of communication. So date night helps with communication. It's an essential element for the intimate relationship, but communication also involves the willingness to remove distractions such as children and career demands. And that is something that I've made pretty prevalent. I understand that creeps in, but let's try to really, really hard to make it about right here, right now, us kind of thing. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard. So, but it's also a way for each party to be able to de-stress. Because it takes you out of that norm. For me, it gives me something to look forward to of outside of the norm, because now it's only a once a week maybe thing. So it's something to look forward to.
Right. I mean, I definitely see that for you as something to look forward to. It should be something to look forward to. I think that's something that has kind of evolved with us is the original, when we talked about it, it was going to be a once or twice a month thing, and
really
that was kind
underestimated
of that was kind of what we both saw as the normal.
I think it was really naive of me to think that, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean it was.
so that was my.
In retrospect,
But coming from something that was like nothing, non-existent, and I felt that was like a necessary thing. I didn't want it to be like a overzealous ask of it, but it's like 2 days out of 30 seems like. But that's just me. That's just me.
And I think that's something interesting that I think you're going to find out, is that date night is a thing that's catching on like it should. Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to see a majority of couples of people that are our age that are both working, that have kids in school, particularly this time of year. They're going to struggle to make that second date night.
Right.
Especially if they don't have the support for the kids to kind of get to the point where it's just the two of them. I think 2 date nights a week is actually, or a month is actually rich for a lot of folks with school age kids that, especially with family that aren't neighbors or aren't close by. 2 date nights a month is something where that would be great for a lot of people.
Or even like with so I just had a friend that posted it was like their first date night in like 2.5 months, only because their kids are into, like all those fall sports.
Oh, sure.
It was like cheerleading and like all, football and all the things all the time. And so it was like, for you to have 3 kids and you signed up all 3 of your children for different various sports, and it's like at the same point where it's like, I don't want to take away from my kids, but at the same point it's like, how do you breathe?
Right, we're only human, even if we are parents.
We're only human. Like, get a little karaoke time into that. But I mean, like, I get that. You can only fit so much time into a day, but we haven't had that luxury yet to be able to plan. We were having that conversation of, okay, so what sport would you do? Because it's like Gary and I have been into like Taekwondo, but it was when they lived in Fredericksburg, and so now they live here, and it's like, okay, like what do you want to do? Like, what would you do? And now we have the luxury of having, but it's like, okay, so now we might have, because we've got drama club and Liam's looking into getting soccer, and now we might have baseball or football, and Isla's talking about tennis, and so it's like,
and I guess the point there is, it's easy to lose date night or to put date night back,
right?
Because of course everybody's going to put their kids first, and so it's a real struggle, and I can see it being a real struggle in the future if we are trying to do all of that juggling, and then still keep the date night there, and that's what we're trying to help with tonight. I think that's our goal, is to try and figure that out.
It's more like we're really targeting, and because the question came from this, the inspiration for this, it came from a mom, that has 2 kids, and, she's struggling to figure out date night. And so, I get that. And so that's where my inspiration came from, to target moms that are trying to get, and so it's like, there is scientific reasoning to why you need a date night. There's 2 people on the interweb that are telling you deserve a date night. You need to prioritize that. But there's also the aspect that we have listeners that aren't moms, that aren't parents, that aren't into that level, but they're trying to figure out date night. And so we're going to get into that. Like, date night should be a priority, and you should make it a date night. Like, just trying to wiggle that in, but cost might be associated with that. Finding the time. There's a lot of factors, and so we're going to get into that. So I don't want you to think that this episode is directly towards parents.
Right.
Like, we're parents and we can relate to that, but I don't want you to think that's the only reason why we're sitting here talking. So, but my next point is, so this is something that I like precursored Ryan in, and I'm interested to hear like his answer. But it's like, all right, let me start off with like what was our first date night? What would you call our technical first date night?
That
and
is
the big sigh.
It's not a sigh.
No.
Just,
it's like
trying
one
to
of those.
Figure out, like,
I know it's been 7 years.
Yeah, you gotta go
It's
to
been
the Wayback
he's got to go
Machine.
way
Yeah,
back in the
that
Rolodex of time.
And that it was kind of one of my favorites. Because we had a lot of neat experiences, interesting experiences, to me and you, I think, because it was new to you completely, and then it was well received by you, which was, dare I say, new to me, in some aspects. So that's what I remember as far as just one of the first date nights. I don't even remember where we went to eat, or if we even went out, or if we just got takeouts or whatever. But it was the summertime, and then we went out in the boat and anchored up, and just we put out a blanket on the front of the boat and just watched the stars. It was it was dark out on the water, and it was a clear night.
Yeah.
And that was kind of just part of it. It was shooting from the hip. It was like, hey, this is a good idea, and let's run with it. And you typically ran with it, and I just remember that was a lot of fun. It was really a cool connection for us, and so that's definitely one of my favorites, one of my tops. And
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would consider that, so you're talking about favorites, would you consider it that our first date, though?
I don't know that was our
We're asking,
first
the question
date.
is, and so this happens a lot. I'll ask a question and homie will be in the context of the question, but he doesn't answer the question specifically. Love him. But what would you say our first date, technically our first date, would be? And it's okay to take a minute because I can edit out the pause.
Right.
I didn't precursor you this, and so I'm kind of throwing you to the wolves a little bit. So it's okay.
A little bit, yeah.
And I'm not going to answer what I think, because there was, while you think, get a little precursor. So there was like a little bit of like, I like you, I don't know, maybe, what's going on. There's a whole like a period of time, and then it was like, you're my girlfriend. We're together. We're a thing. It was like this weird, awkward.
It was, yeah.
Time. And so it's like, I don't know if you consider one of those instances our first date, or was it literally like,
I think the one I just referenced was in that period.
Right. It was.
Okay.
It was. And that, and
you
so,
with that.
yeah, no, I agree. And that's what I like. And so I'm just trying to make sure, like, are you answering that question as that? And so.
Yeah, no, I don't
because I know that night was trying to be recreated on Christmas that same year, and we didn't have the kids.
Right.
So, yeah. So it was like, okay, like, that's what I remember. But, like, you're having a moment. So, like, is that your final answer? Locking it in?
That was, I don't know that would count as our first date night if we weren't official. I don't even know.
This isn't my answer. This is like, okay, so if you were to go back, like, and your kids were like, what was your first date night with Stefanie? You would say...
Yeah, I'd have to go with that, but
okay.
I'd have to go with that.
And
that was me trying.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like, I'm not judging you. Like, this is just a question. Like,
Just,
so.
just trying to show you love and affection, or trying to show you a good time with me,
Right.
not necessarily trying to, as most males would say.
Right.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, seal the deal,
Yeah,
kind of
whatever.
thing. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, but. Okay, so for me, for my first date, like, and so I have a couple of, like, genres of first dates, I
Yeah.
guess.
It does get a little complicated.
I
doesn't
know,
it?
I know.
Yeah, when
And
you start thinking about it.
if you think about, like, it's kind of blurred in there. But I do feel like our first date was Carrabba's, and I gave you Kanan Smith's album, and it was, like, us kind of just talking. It was literally just us. There was literally no intentions. We both knew that we were going away separately. It wasn't like, anything. It was just hardcore drinks at Carrabba's. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah. They're.
if you don't know, Carrabba's makes some Captain and Cokes that don't really have any Coke in them,
No.
and we appreciate
Yeah.
them. And
Carrabba's and Newport News.
right, Carrabba's,
Every
Newport
time.
News.
And it's been like that
you.
for 7 years too.
For
I mean, it's been consistent.
7 years.
It's
They've been consistent with It's Captain.
Yeah.
It's
I
Captain.
don't know of any other bar that's
right.
been
that have been
for
consistent
that
with their
long.
drinks.
Yeah.
Props to them.
Right.
Just saying. But it was Captain on the Rocks, and
Pretty much. Yeah.
it was good conversation,
was.
and Kanan Smith. So Captain, conversation, Kanan was the synopsis of the instance.
Okay.
Like, just saying. That was what I thought. All right. So, all right. Are we doing top 3 date nights for us, or are we doing most memorable date nights?
I don't know. I don't know that you could really say, okay, 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure if I could do that. Especially,
put a number on it.
put a number on it. That's kind of tough, and I think takes a little bit more preparation
I think you don't want to,
for me.
discount because you don't want to, answer it wrong. Kind of I don't want to, because this is good, but this is also good, and they're all kind of good, and just go.
And I mean, I don't know that that's the goal for tonight, because I think it's more of trying to inspire somebody that might be listening that's thinking about it, and trying to figure out something different, something new, something outside the box. But as far as memorable for me, I can say, yeah, definitely memorable for me involves, Carrabba's and Starbucks and boats. So, that was, certainly memorable. And there's been a lot of others in a couple, but not many, that didn't involve boats for me. Because that's
what he does.
I do that.
He has the opportunity, and so
I do, and I feel very fortunate.
So it wouldn't be technically first date, but first opportunity to sit down and talk with you outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
Ocean Eagle,
yeah, definitely
boat
involved
style,
a boat, yeah.
And that's when we learned that his first marriage and my first marriage were on the exact same day.
Yes. Same day.
Same
exactly.
day.
Not just the same day of a different year. No, the same day of the same year.
Exact day.
Yeah.
So
it was what?
It was wait, hold on, wait a second.
That was weird.
It was weird. And so it was one of those moments who are you? So, but that was the first time I actually went fishing and caught something.
Right.
It's here I am. I actually sell fishing, which is so crazy. 7 years ago. Anyways.
Yeah, this is kind of a circle. The full circle.
It's a circle.
Yeah, it's anything but a circle. Because
totally.
that involves roundness and some continuity and
a
little bit of flow, maybe. I don't know. It's been interesting.
So our go-to, this guy's so our go-to date,
right,
is down the clowns. So we typically eat somewhere, and we down the clowns, which is at our local, shout out to Play Around, which is our local putt arcade, and now they have
Go-karts. That's new. They've got
I keep
some
saying
laser
golf cart.
tag.
I was trying to make sure I didn't say go-kart. They don't have golf carts. They have go-karts. So they're pretty awesome, and which is super disappointing, but we lost our awesome card that had
I have no idea what happened with that.
Tickets on it. But anyways,
we were ready to buy the mountain bike that's been hanging from the ceiling for years. You know, we were at that level.
Buy them all, but we would go pretty much on a regular basis. It would be at least once a month. It was like our go-to fallback. We don't have an idea for date night. Dinner.
Ryan doesn't have an idea for date night.
I wasn't gonna.
Because it kind of, and that was kind of something too that, you know, in all open and honesty, which I think this podcast has a lot going on. Ryan shouldered a lot of the creative aspect of date night, or the planning of date night in general.
What's the effort? I was looking for, because it was the effort before. Like, okay, so if you are willing to take me out on a boat, anchor out, let's do the stars. Effort. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of pulled out your A game a little too early. So Stephanie's expecting A game all the time. I'm just saying. So
pace yourself, gentlemen. That's the name of the game
here.
The name of the game here.
Show her a good time, but let's ease into it. You got to figure out what she likes, what she doesn't like, and so let's go from there.
There's been a lot of comedic bits about this particular subject.
This is a comedic bit right here.
So yes,
Ryan failed by pulling out all the stops on date one. And so Stephanie's expecting it's only going to get better from here. And then we're ending up at down the clowns on the regular.
Definitely my idea. I hate those little bastards. Kill them all.
So there's this really cool game, and so you throw the balls at the clowns, and so Ryan and I do it together, and we're basically awesome. And anyways, and so we'll do that game until Stephanie's arms, holy shit, and then I do Guitar Hero until my hand is holy shit, and then I look like a little, like I've got some issues going on, and then we'll head home.
I eat Blue Monster ice cream.
True.
They've got some great
Blue.
I haven't found that anywhere else, and that's so cool.
So it's Bluebell, Blue Monster.
I don't think it's Bluebell. It's
It's up there.
It's something.
I don't know.
It's a cool ice cream.
I'll cannot
buy in the grocery store that I've found anyway.
I'll research it and put it in the show notes.
But I think but that's something too that you've got to combat, because there is always that tendency to fall into the regular. Oh, hey, it's date night. Well, we always go here and we always do this, and it's always special. And it's like, at some point, it kind of loses its thing,
It was. And so for me, and I can't speak for all people, but because I'm looking forward to it, I'm looking for the esque of the spontaneity, but not really. I'm looking for the outside of the norm. I'm looking for something, just different, because it's kids, work, home bullshit, we're in that this circle of bullshit, and so I'm looking for, and I'm not calling my kids bullshit, I'm not calling work bullshit, we're in that circle of this is the norm, and I'm trying to get outside the norm, because I know the kids listen to this, and so I don't want them to be going to therapy my mom called me bullshit. So
there might be some therapy in order either way.
I swear to God, if they listen to this on the regular, I'm fucking screwed. But
it is. But I think something you've got to take into account too, when it comes to date night, when it comes to the broad spectrum of things, is, growing up, you grew up in this area where there was,
Facts.
you within driving distance of 4 or 5 different cities. actual cities, and you may not, growing up in the marsh, it doesn't feel like a city, but you're within driving distance of a whole lot of places. Whereas most people, especially small towns, like, I grew up in Tappahannock, there was like 3. There was 3 sit-down restaurants. The rest of them were fast food.
Saying. Like, even though Poquoson is small,
right?
Poquoson has a notorious number of restaurants, like a stupid number of restaurants. From one end to the other, there is an outlandish number of restaurants. And so
Tappahannock was known for gas stations. There's gas stations from one end to the other. Well, because it's kind of
like that, like because you're in that stretch of 17. Nobody comes to hunker down. I think it's really cool that they now have like that, like a legit, like, was a Holiday Inn now or something? That's
something like that. Well, they always had a Days Inn, and I don't remember what else.
That was sketch, though.
No, it's a Hampton Inn.
It's a Hampton Inn.
It's a Hampton Inn.
Hampton Inn's a little extra.
It's a little bit better than Days Inn, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah, like, it's up there. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, Tappahannock, you should check it out.
Lots of fast food restaurants. I don't know about up and coming.
It's up and coming. It's gonna be. It's
Cool little town. I'll give it that. It's got some neat history.
Right.
I call it home, regardless of how well it was or wasn't managed. But I mean, we had every fast food restaurant. We had every brand of gasoline. It seemed like, and that's kind of what I remember.
That's
but
cool.
I mean,
because Poquoson did not. See, that's so funny. It was literally the flip side, because Poquoson did not. We had Metro, which they would pump it for you, and then we had Zooms, but now it's the 7-Eleven. And so, like, that was it. That was the stretch of Poquoson. Yeah. We had 12,000 people, and we had 2 gas stations. Like, that's crazy. And so Tappahannock
you had more marinas that sold gas than you had.
Right. When you have more marinas that sold fuel than you did actual gas stations, which is crazy. But okay, with that being said, I have realized that this episode actually goes on for over an hour. So I'm going to cut it right here, and I'm going to leave the second part for next week. So stay tuned for part 2 of Date Night. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review, or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all 3. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.